For startups, I see it completely as don't go on-prem. I don't see the reason to go on-prem. There's just too much there that you can go and begin. It's like the question, it's an R&D question. You can go and do it alone, or you can take a tool that help you scale. Okay, so I am seeing like start on your own, make the pilot, make the MVP, then go to the big league.
Welcome to our series entitled The IM Podcast, a podcast about innovation, business, and most importantly, people. In this series, we'll be talking to founders, executives, and various experts about their vision, challenges, best practices, and lessons learned throughout their journey. Let's get started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the IM Podcast. I am Mariah, your host, and today with me is the former VP R&D at Raycatch and now living his dream. Okay, we will get more into that. Okay, Danielle Schuldenfrei. Hello, Danielle.
Hi, hello, happy to be here.
We are so happy to be here. This is your first podcast, right?
Right. It's my dip in the water into those terms. I have done some conferences, but podcast, yeah, sure, it's first. So happy to be here.
Wow.
It's exciting.
Exciting, yes. It's gonna be an exciting conversation. So just feel free. This is your stage and this is your time. I know a lot of people are afraid of being on the spotlight. Are you?
When I start, I go with the flow. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, you have managed people, so I'm sure it's gonna be easy for you. So for those who don't know you yet, I would love you to tell us more about you, the background, personal career. Go ahead, Danielle.
Okay. I'm married and I have a beautiful kid. Is 3 years old. I've been 10 years at startups. Before that, I learned electric engineering. My first company that I worked with, I've been with almost 6 years. It's called Orcam, a company that develops a device for people who are visually impaired. And I started my position there in the algorithms team. Later moved to really been through all the like from algorithms to software, all that. And I got to participate in forming a really big team there that was in charge of the device that is currently selling for this company. So we really took a device from POC, from MVP journey. I've been granted the opportunity to go and lead the R&D department at Raycatch. This product is helping solar industry by understanding. It's like a digital asset management tool when people that own large plants, large sites, not home, but rather large site, they sell the electricity to the electricity company. So we help them understand where are their problems and how they can better perform. So, and it's an automatic tool and it's SaaS, so software as a service. They just log in within their day. They see what they need to fix, where they need to push harder, and they understand the return on investment, like how much they need to make an effort, like DevOps and full stack developers under my supervision. Yeah.
All right. Wow. So from Orcam to Raycatch, what do you love working about? Oh, what do you love about startups first?
It's a nice question. I think I love the chaos at the beginning. I like to have a million tabs open, and I like to go deep where it's needed, but also have a very broad perspective. And it's constantly changing in startups. In Raycatch, in my first position in Orcam, we were 30 when I joined. I left when we were 300. In Raycatch, when I joined, my team was about 3 developers. When I left, it was 15. So it was really it's an intense role to be in a startup. You're always doing something different. There's no available tool. It's just like you have to make it your own. So it's very diverse. Sometimes in your position, you do so many stuff, but when you grow up, something very tight, it's like you go in depth with the certain position. So it's kind of nice to see. And also the environment is very enjoyable. It's like people are building something together, so it's exciting.
Yes, you love the chaos. So to all who can listen to this podcast and loves the chaos, go ahead and would love to know you. Okay, from 30 to 300, 3 to 15. Now, yes, you left the position a month ago, right?
Yeah, a few months ago.
What were the triggers? What's on your mind, or how's the experience? Can you talk to us about that?
Of making the shifts or in the yeah, okay.
Yes.
So I left Orcam when I felt like I needed to spread a little bit bigger. When the opportunity came, it was also a different place geographically in my country, rather closer to my home, and that's when my boy just was born. So I wanted to be closer, but also the opportunity to grow from something really small and lead a diversity of departments. As I said, the algorithms, the software, the stack, the cloud. It was very much like being in charge of team leaders rather than being a team leader my own.
You felt like you have to spread your wings and do something bigger and find another chaotic place to be in.
Yeah, well, it was too much organized when we were 300. I said I gotta try something new. Yeah,
Yes, it's time for something new. Okay, so later I'm gonna ask you about that something new that is like that you're cooking, maybe the
right.
amount that you're allowed to tell us. But talk to us first about the 15 people or your experience about R&D, right? So first, going back to the 15 people. So what does that comprise? I mean, who are those 15 people in the R&D team?
Well, everyone's different. Everyone's motivated different. Some people they need a lot of knowledge, like to start working, like the motivation. Some people need, a lot of data, to start working. So everybody's different, and you gotta learn the people. Um, and you gotta understand how to manage your time because everybody needs a little push, whether it's from you or from another team leader, but you have to orchestrate it so that you're maximizing your potential.
Yeah, do they have to be really data driven? I mean, everyone at the R&D team, or what do you look for to be a member of the R&D?
There's not a real formula for that, but algorithms people, I think they really need to be that you look for a lot of open-minded and being really good with mathematics and like understand and experience. While in software developers, I always search for people that they like to try always new things and they're not afraid of opening another open source or trying to enter new turf. This is was kind of like my vision for software. For stack people, it was completely well, it was very close to software, but it's the accomplishments are really fast. So you have to, I say feed the beast, but you have to constantly give them more and more on their plate to get them running. It's because they're like most of the tasks are done really fast, and for us as a small company, the clients they get this little relatively easy to watch the change grow. So you have to constantly give them more and more and more. So it's really different with cloud, with DevOps. In my former role in Orcam, I didn't have any DevOps with me because everything was on-prem and we had a whole department for that, and I wasn't even close to that. So I had to learn everything on my own from the beginning, understand what's needed. We I think in 3 to 4 months in my position, we changed clouds from GCP to AWS. And it was the my opportunity to learn it, It was my opportunity to lead the change, and it was so good experience to understand even the new technology.
You really studied or you really learned it, like cloud technology.
It's a whole big world,
It's-
and I'm not pretending even for a minute to understand. I don't know, but I know the major. I know the compute and the databases, like the managed databases, and a lot of other software, cyber a little. So for us, it was because we were still a relatively small startup. We're like 25 people, and it wasn't that big. Our expenses were not small, but still, it was very interesting. I think the best project we did with cloud, we had this compute that took, I think, 70 hours. It was a very big like company that had in solar you say megawatts, gigawatts. So it was a gigawatt of a site. It's very big. So it took us 70 hours in the beginning when I joined the company. It took us almost 10 minutes when we finished all the like orchestrating it through the cloud, parallel work, 1,000 computers running at once, giving results, storing it, loading it, moving it, transition, everything. So we had to completely change our way of thought working with the cloud and also make it relatively affordable. So
yeah.
and that's a big challenge. Uh,
Yes.
how to monitor your expenses and everything. So
Yes, yes. Actually, I wanna ask you that, like, the advantages of going into the cloud and staying on premise. What do you think, as the VP of R&D? What do you think is the biggest advantage or the leverage?
for startups, I see it completely as don't go on-prem. I don't see the reason to go on-prem. There's just too much there that you can go and begin. It's like the question, it's an R&D question. You can go and do it alone, or you can take a tool that help you scale. Okay? So I am seeing like start on your own, make the pilot, make the MVP, then go to the big league. Like go and do what's needed. You don't need to have either an IT or a DevOps from day one. You can start with the outsource, then later bring him in. You know, everything you can help to scale as much as faster as possible because it's a startup. Your clients are, waiting at the door for you to help them, and it's it's a very chaotic and changing experience. So, like dynamic experience. So you got to scale bigger. When we knew that the cloud can help us, orchestrate this, like manifest those algorithms faster, that's where we knew like how to utilize it. Nobody wanted to wait for an answer for 24 hours. It's just not legitimate. You have to give them the answer now. So
When did you realize, okay, we have to move this to the cloud?
I knew it from the start. It's we had a cloud in GCP, but the problem was that nobody from the former DevOps teams knew to tell me what's going on there, and also the expenses were like not like off the chart, and so I knew that we had to scout for another cloud, somebody to help us fund the transition, the migration. And I knew we had to have experienced DevOps to help us make this transition and also sit with me on the architecture, understand what we're doing, making it right so that I won't have to change again or to migrate again in a few years. Like I wanted stability. We're doing this, it's gonna hurt, but later it's gonna be really calm, and that's just the way it was. We sat with a few people.
Okay, so you mentioned about outsourcing and the importance of having that expert, right, with you to sit on the architecture. So I think a lot of businesses really don't have the, especially startups, right, the capability to really, because special experts come with a price tag. It's expensive. So, your opinion, do you have to do it in-house, or are you open to outsourcing some of the tasks for you to be able to innovate faster?
Well, it really depends what's your core technology, I think. For us, the core technology was solar analytics. So DevOps and infrastructure was not something that we know how to do best. But when you coordinate with an outsource, and I'm saying an outsourced company, it's not one person that you're facing. It's one person and he sits with 70 more or 100 more. So it's his knowledge is much larger because when he doesn't know the answer, he has friends and he has like experience. He has a back, someone has have his back. So I found it really, really nice that to work with such company, especially in the beginning. Later, if you grow bigger and you want to bring someone in to make, all the important, how do you say, you have to work fast and you want him to integrate it with your teams and understand stuff from the research part and before even delivery. So then you'll bring someone in, I think, but also it's good to have this back always as a startup.
You avoid the one point failure.
Right.
I'm not sure if that's right, but yes. So there's a lot you can have access to a lot of heads, brains, talents,
Yeah.
knowledge, right? When you have a team that is specialized for development. Okay.
Also, I think if you've entered there as a startup, you always have some sort of tech debt when it's constantly things that need your hands, but you're leaving them behind because of client needs, because of company needs, because of I don't know what. You have to show this demo to the investors or whatever to make the next round, but you take with you a big bag of technical debt, and you don't want to be in a technical debt in the cloud or a technical debt in your infrastructure because that's when it hurts most.
You have any other tips for startups who'll be working or outsourcing that part of their work?
Well, get references, talk to people before, like about their experience. I've done it many times. Before going into something new, just talk to some people that have this service, have this, worked with the people you want to work with. Hear what was their challenges, what is the less optimistic part of their journey. Understand if it's fit for you. If you're in relatively the same team size, or you have the capacity to withhold this connection, because also outsource can be something that it's not always, do that. You constantly have to grow it. They're part of your company. You have to let them in. I always looked at it as if I have someone who is outsourced, is entering our daily, opening talks. He's communicating when we're doing a lecture about solar. I want him to participate because I want him to be part of the
Part.
team, to understand the motivation. It also, like, you get a different feeling from them, that they're sitting right next to you. So,
I agree. Like, they also have to be aligned with your goals, not just, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, and then come in
yeah,
with the results. So they have to also be like partner, right? To
right.
partner with
Yeah,
you
they're
and your
your
growth.
partners to your journey. The flip side on that they can, they can change, they can move. The company can decide, like the outsource company can decide to switch your personnel to a different person. So all the time you have to keep the knowledge within the company. You have to constantly do like shakeups inside. Like you have to understand the material. You have to understand the products that they deliver. It's not good enough to say, yeah, I have an outsource. They're good for it. I know that they can switch, they can learn it. No, you have to bring it in yourself.
One factor I see people are very hesitant to outsourcing is trust, right? So, what do you think is the
Mhm.
best way to nurture or build trust?
If you take them as part of your team and really let them work with your team. And as I said, bring in the knowledge and the motivation behind your work. um, and also understand that like others, they want to learn, like your team, they want to grow, they want to have more, like bigger shoulders, they want to grow with you, but they need to get responsibility and get in charge of stuff so that later they'll feel like there's someone that is irreplaceable in your team. So as I see it, give them, but also train them to understand the background of your work.
I've heard some stories about like in our team, they worked with an Israeli like a founder, CTOs, right? So first, culture gets in the way. Like, how should I communicate with him or that? But now they're like the closest. They even say goodbyes in the sweetest way possible. So I think yes, you have to what communicate and build the relationship, right? Even when you're outsourcing.
Right. It's always a number one for me. Like when I spoke to like head ofs or like managers that were part of building the outsource team or whatever, I said, look, I gotta work with someone that has really good English. So because there were always foreigners from a different country, we worked with with a lot of countries. So it was always something very, really major. I don't want people to hold them in. I want people that can communicate, even when they're not feeling good, like about what they're doing. If they're not happy doing the work, I want them to tell me, maybe I can find another role for them. Maybe I can find another task. Maybe I can find something else that they'll be better at.
Nice. Because
Yeah.
Israelis are straightforward people, right? Very direct. Like you'll say
Yeah.
whatever you want to say in a good way. I think for Asians, I'm not sure, no.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think it's quite different in other countries. Like they're more reserved and shy. Like they would prefer not saying it. Can you share what like challenges or stories wherein you had that culture or English getting in the way?
Well, I can say that yeah, I have a nice story. So we worked with people from Nablus, from the Palestinian Authority, and Israel and the Palestinian Authority always has this tension and always politics, and actually there's a lot of good people which I worked through the years, and uh, I believe in cultivating this mutual like work because we're neighbors and we want to work in peace. And so we had a team there, and they were like really great people. One of the best like developers that I've worked with. They're like really good. And then there was this little engagement that threw up this
Conflict?
how do you say, it's not a war, but it's like a small, conflict. Yeah, that's the word for it. And I saw like in the morning, like the expressions on the face, the people, and I said, look, if it's hard for someone to be here, I understand it completely. Take the day off or the week off. Here, it's no politics. It's only business. We like you. We work with you daily. We appreciate your work. You understand our motivation, our need. We're not doing like war zone here. This is the team. We gotta go forward with the task. I said, if you don't feel comfortable working right now, I completely understand it, and it's cool. We'll take a day off, 2 days, 1 week. Even if you don't want to work here, that's fine. I won't take it for granted, but just know that for me, it's just work.
Yeah,
Okay? And
nothing
we need to
personal.
work together. Yeah, it's nothing personal. Politics aside, let's work. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
So that's another culture, like where culture and I don't know, real life crash. Yeah.
Right. Well, life happens and we are different like personalities, maybe work, but yeah, like what you said. Okay, communicate what you like and let's see like maybe you can go
Right.
here or things like that. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have given us tips, okay, like how to manage DevOps, no, not DevOps people, how to manage teams, right? The strategies or best practices. And now you also talked about why you left, and that is because you said you felt like you have to spread your wings and do something bigger. So, what is the road ahead for you, Danielle?
Well, 3 months ago, Raycatch was sold. Like the technology was sold, and I said I have the option to continue there with the new administration. But it was always a dream of mine to open something of my own, a new startup. And so in the past few months, I've been working on that with a partner. We're in ideation phase. It's really, really preliminary, and it's constantly changing and growing. It's very much the work is very product driven. It's like trying to interrogate or like understand like the client's needs and try to manifest a product from the problems and from the connections that you understand. Where our project is trying to think of a way to help partnership managers, people that do partnerships within companies, let's say, to work together. And we're trying to understand from our experience, me and my partner's experience, business and also big data and AI, which was my personal speciality, to understand who can be their next partner, how can they better prospect, what are the KPIs of success in this partnership, and really give them a tool to expand their growth, like to help them grow with other companies. I think we talked to more than 70 people already from different companies, and we're not going to stop. We're going to continue asking the questions like their daily work, what is their stack, what do they use, where do they see the opportunity to really partner up. And we understand some flaws. We understand some tools are out there, and we're trying to build some sort of product to help them in this heavy task.
Wow, would love to follow along that journey. So right now, it's like really R&D, right? Like ideation, researching.
It's a lot of research, ideation. I believe that in a few months' time, we'll try to find an investment and really start.
You already have a co-founder. How many people are in
No, we're
this
just two. We're just two.
team?
He's more of a
Two.
business guy. I'm more of the techie guy, and
Right
together
combination.
we'll try to fight it and see our road together. And we have this great dynamic, and just wait for it. I don't know.
Exciting times. So be sure to also hop here to tell us if it's, out in the open.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is the I Am podcast. So if you are to complete I am Danielle and I am blank, how are you going to complete that sentence?
What? I'm Daniel, and it's great to form new things, to form new products with great people. That's it.
Wow. I thought you were going to say, I love chaos. I am Danielle and I love
I can say
chaos.
that as well. But you took me, you surprised me. So this is what came up. I don't know.
Okay. So
I am chaos. I'm not
to
chaos,
those
but I love chaos.
yes, who loves chaos, or maybe your people who love chaos is gonna align with you. Okay, so to those who want to have a conversation or talk to you, ask some tips or things to connect, what is the best way to connect with Daniel?
LinkedIn is great. Happy to
Yes,
share
that's
my knowledge.
Daniel Schuldenfrei.
Yes, correct. Very good.
A bit of German last name.
Yes, indeed.
Thank you very much, Danielle, and all the best to you. Come back here for more news.
Thank you. It was really great to be here, and I loved it. Thank you for this experience.
This podcast is powered by imops.io. Optimize your cloud infrastructure and CI/CD process with imops.io dedicated DevOps team. Check out www.imops.io and get a DevOps team now. Make sure to check out www.imops.io if you want to know more about us. Subscribe to our podcast so you can get notified every time we post a new video. Thank you, and you have a great day.